In the quiet corners of rural Australia, a seemingly innocent Sunday lunch was about to unfold into a nightmare that would captivate a nation and ignite a global true crime obsession. It's a story of family, food, and a chilling mystery at its heart. How did a seemingly ordinary ingredient turn a meal into a mass poisoning, leaving 3 dead and 1 fighting for life? This is the perplexing case of the alleged mushroom murders, and the woman at its centre, Erin Patterson. The date was July 29, 2023. The picturesque coastal town of Lochsport, Victoria, was the setting for a family get-together. Erin Patterson, 49, was hosting a lunch for her former in-laws, Gail and Don Patterson, both 70, along with Gail's sister, Heather Wilkinson, 66, and Heather's husband, Ian Wilkinson, also 66. The atmosphere, by all accounts, was meant to be one of warmth and connection. Erin prepared a homemade Beef Wellington, a classic dish for her guests. But what began as a pleasant afternoon soon descended into a medical emergency. Within hours of leaving Erin Patterson's home, all 4 guests began to suffer excruciating symptoms: severe vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain. It was clear this was no ordinary food poisoning. This was something far more sinister, a rapid and aggressive poisoning that quickly sent them to the nearest hospitals, then swiftly transferred to specialised liver units in Melbourne. Erin Patterson herself reported feeling unwell, but her symptoms were notably less severe, and she recovered much faster than her critically ill guests. As medical teams desperately fought to save their lives, the terrifying diagnosis emerged. The poison was from Amanita phalloides, the deathcap mushroom, one of the most lethally toxic fungi on Earth. The toxins attack the liver and kidneys, causing irreversible organ failure. Despite the heroic efforts of doctors, the outcome was devastating. On August 4th, Gail Patterson and Heather Wilkinson passed away. Just days later, on August 5th, Don Patterson also succumbed to the poison. Ian Wilkinson, miraculously, was the sole survivor after enduring an induced coma and undergoing a life-saving liver transplant. The shocking deaths of 3 seemingly healthy individuals from a single family meal immediately triggered a major homicide investigation. The question on everyone's mind was, how did these deadly mushrooms end up on a dinner plate? And why was the host, Erin Patterson, spared the same fate? Police quickly turned their attention to Erin. Her home was searched and electronic devices were seized. Among the items of interest was a food dehydrator, later found to contain traces of deathcap mushrooms, which Erin admitted to disposing of after the incident, claiming she panicked. In November 2023, Erin Patterson was arrested and formally charged with 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Her trial, held at the Supreme Court of Victoria, commenced in April 2025 and has since become one of Australia's most closely watched legal battles. The prosecution, led by Nanette Rogers SC, has presented a compelling, albeit circumstantial, case for intentional poisoning. Their argument hinges on several key points. Firstly, the prosecution alleges that Patterson lied about the source of the mushrooms, initially claiming she bought them from an Asian grocer, a claim she later recanted. She also admitted to lying about owning a food dehydrator, which she then discarded. Secondly, evidence was presented regarding a factory reset on her mobile phone, suggesting an attempt to hide digital footprints. Furthermore, the court heard about alleged internet searches related to deathcap mushrooms and their effects. The prosecution also highlighted that Erin served her own portion of the Beef Wellington on a different coloured plate, an orange or tan one, while her guests received grey plates, suggesting she knew which portions were safe. However, Erin Patterson has pleaded not guilty to all charges, maintaining her innocence throughout the trial. Her defence barrister, Colin Mandy SC, has mounted a robust defence, arguing that while Patterson may have made mistakes and even lied out of fear, these actions do not equate to murder. The defence contends there was no clear motive for Patterson to harm her beloved former in-laws, with whom she claimed to have a good relationship. They argued that any lies were born from panic and fear of being blamed for a catastrophic accident. Crucially, the defence has emphasised the lack of direct forensic evidence proving intent and has raised questions about the chain of custody for food samples, arguing that scientific evidence is inconclusive. They also pointed to Patterson's own claims of feeling ill after the meal, suggesting she too was a victim of an accidental poisoning. The defense maintains that while this was an unimaginable tragedy, the prosecution has failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Erin Patterson deliberately poisoned her guests. As of June 2025, after weeks of emotional testimony and forensic detail, both the prosecution and the defense have delivered their closing arguments. The fate of Erin Patterson now rests in the hands of the jury, who are being tasked with deliberating on one of Australia's most complex and heartbreaking true crime cases. The world watches, waiting to see if this horrific dinner party will ultimately be deemed a tragic accident or a calculated act of murder with a suspicious ingredient at its deadly core. The verdict, when it comes, will undoubtedly echo far beyond the courtroom in rural Victoria. As the dust settles on this extraordinary case, we're left with haunting questions and a community forever changed. Whether justice has truly been served or mysteries remain unsolved, one thing is certain: the story of the deadly mushroom lunch will be remembered for years to come. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of Australia's most gripping true crime sagas. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the world's most shocking real-life mysteries. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.